my grandma Henry, that would be my mom's mother. They had a farm, I'm not sure, but I think it was 80 acres. And I don't even know what they farmed, but they did. They was farmers. And we didn't go to Grandma's a whole lot, but yet we went enough to get to know them and to love them. I loved my grandparents. I wasn't fortunate to live around them for very long, and my mother passed away, and so after that we didn't see them too often at all. It wasn't soon after Mom died that we moved to California anyway, so. But anyway, she had a beautiful home, and she had what they called the parlor, and in that parlor everything was so meticulous, just everything in its place and just beautiful. They had money, they weren't fabulously wealthy, but they didn't have to worry about finances, and they had a piano. They had from the dining room to the parlor, as they called it, they had French doors so that you could see in there. They never kept the doors locked, but we just knew that we weren't supposed to go in there. I guess our mom told us that that room was off limits, and so, and that she said there was nothing in there for us, but little did she know that I wanted to just go and bang on that piano one good time, then I'd feel better. But I never got to do that. So.
Did you ever hear anybody play it at all?
No, I never did. And it seemed like the parlor was off limits to the adults as well as the children, because nobody ever went in there. Like I said, it looked like a picture out of a magazine, and that was it. And but when we went to Grandma's, many times her sons, Uncle Sam and Uncle Herman, and their family was there too. And Uncle Sam and Uncle Herman each had 2 children. Annabelle and Lynn was Sam's children, and Jimmy and Jackie were there. And anyway, it wasn't that far, I don't think, that from where we had to go from where we lived to Grandma's place, but us kids always act like we were dying of thirst, and we all lined up out at the well and took our turn of getting a drink of water. It was very good water.
Did y'all slop in the same cup?
Yeah, we all slopped in the same cup. There was a tin cup sitting there on the edge there, and Grandma had a pump that you pumped it in the house on her sink, but I don't know if Mom schooled us or if we just chose to use the well outside. But it was fun to go to Grandma's. She always had these great big sugar cookies. They was about that big, and they were always so soft and so good. And after I was married, soon after I was married, I wrote and asked Grandma if I could have the recipe, because most sugar cookies I ate were, some of them were soft, but never anything like Grandma's, so I wanted her recipe. And of course, Grandma was getting up in years at this time, and I don't think she remembered how she did it, because she told me that I put in so much flour and so much sugar, and then when we got to the vanilla, she said that she used 4 cups. Well, nobody uses 4 cups of vanilla. It's of spice, and so Chloe said, well, go ahead and try it. Maybe she did use that, you know. I said, well, I just don't see how, and so we tried it anyway, and it was a disaster. We didn't eat the cookies. But Grandma had they had a garage, and above the garage they had a loft up there, and it was designed for a playroom for kids. And that's, the boys didn't, but us girls spent our time up there. It was so cute. They had, I don't know if Grandpa made it or if they bought it or what, but it had, you know, like doll furniture and dolls up there and everything that you'd see in a house, it was up there. So we could go up there and play for quite some time and never get bored. We was happy to do it. And I don't know what Bob and Bill did. I probably went out shooting or something. I don't know. But anyway, we'd spend a couple hours at Grandma and Grandpa's, and we always went out there while my mom was alive and had Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner out there. And that was always fun. The food was good, and my grandpa Henry, he had what they called a day bed. Their dining room was as big as what most people's living room is, and after dinner, my grandpa would always stretch out on what they called a day bed, and that was in the dining room. They had room for that, plus their great big table and chairs and everything, hutch. So that was always funny because we all kind of looked towards Grandpa when dinner was over just to see if he was going to do it or not, and he always did. So
What did he look like, Mom?
Grandpa Henry?
Mm-hmm.
I remember him as being semi-tall, not overly tall, but a slender build. And when I knew him, he had gray hair, and he was a quiet man. He didn't talk a lot, and he just kind of seemed to sit back and enjoy the family while they were there, but he never contributed much to the conversation. So,
What about Grandma Henry?
she was a short, little fat lady, and
That's where I get it, then. That's where I get it.
And she had gray hair, and she always parted in the middle, pulled all her hair back, and always had a knot in the back with her hair. So, but she looked like typical grandmas, what you think they should look like. And I think that most grandmas that lived then would be shocked if they could see how grandmas look today. Grandmas look like sisters to their daughters. Mm-hmm. And so that was, but they were a nice couple, and I loved them a lot.